I'm trucking on. And I'm trucking on. Move her on down the line. Another town will do me fine. I'm trucking on. I'm trucking on.
Vann Shank, welcome to Truckin' On.
Ward, Richmond. Glad to be here.
Man, our paths have crossed many times in the last 25 years.
They have. My wife caught me watching the podcast one morning, and she's like, "Is that Ward? What's he doing now?"
Hillary?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we were reminiscing about my 30th birthday. 30 or 40th. I think it was my 30th.
30th,
birthday.
probably.
Yeah, because it was pre-cell phone cameras, because I don't have any pictures of it. I looked, see if I could find one of you and the crew in your Adidas tracksuits.
Where was it?
It was at, it's now called the Green Elephant over on Dyer.
Yeah. That's right.
That's where we did it. And she remembered the rider.
Tell me.
Case of Coors Light?
Miller Lite, probably?
I think it was Silver Bullets.
Was it?
Maybe.
John
Either
Pedigo
way.
and the band is so, I don't really care. Like, I'll drink whatever, but John's like super specific about Miller Lite, so I would think that would have been his request.
And she couldn't put her finger on the spirit, but it was Sambuca.
Tawaka.
It was Tuaca?
Yeah, for sure.
I thought it was
I think it was
Sambuca.
Miller Lite and Tawaka.
God,
But
then she has a horrible memory.
yeah, because, I mean,
And
I know
that was a
because
phase in my life I had a bad memory too.
we only drank Tawaka. Like, that was our thing.
Okay.
And we drank a lot of it. And it was like a horrible way to wake up after drinking a bottle of Tawaka. It's like syrup.
Yeah.
So you're like dehydrated and sticky, but it wakes you up. So it was kind of like doing speed.
Did you ever have the coal vines, Tuaca with pineapple? They would
I'm
marinate
sure.
the pineapple in it. It was,
That was a pretty high profile place for me during my time when I drank Tawaka, to go to a place like Coal
it
Vines.
was right around the corner from our house. So
Yeah. Yeah, like that was in Uptown, right? Was that
yeah, we live over at Inwood and Lovers.
oh, okay.
And so there was one there across from Pogo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Tawaka was our thing, and we played a lot of shows. How old are you? How
I'll
old
be
are you?
50 in November.
Okay, so yeah, I was 27 when you turned 30, and I don't know if I had started back into real estate or if I was doing band full time then, but
I think
probably
you were full-time band.
I quit. I started back into real estate like right before I turned 28, so it was probably at the tail end of it.
You had just come off of Europe, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And that was a wild time in my life. I was insane. And man, I loved, the Sioux were like in our heyday right then.
Yeah.
I mean, we were playing all the time. So good times. How did we meet? That's what I want.
Fairwear commercial.
So
You had just left, and I'd been nagging Rick Curry because I was doing tenant rep work over at Swearingen and wanted to get into agency leasing. Why, I don't know, but I did. I think it was a time in the market where, I was young, there were fewer deals to be had, and I kind of thought positioning on the agency side would have been a better angle, just to have product versus, selling an idea.
yeah, and you were probably 25 or something, or around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard when you're in your 20s to go just be a broker, I think. I mean, it's always hard to be a broker, but
Yeah, and
it
you're
was
eating
nice.
scraps, and
That's a great place to go learn brokerage. And I was there for 2.5 years and probably cranked 100 deals.
oh yeah,
So to like get out of college and work on 100 deals in 2 years, I mean, some of them were like 200 square foot closet leases to telecom
Campbell,
companies.
The little flex deal on Campbell, or just south of Campbell, there was a 10-story flex building.
Yeah.
And that was how I got my volume number to qualify for CCIM classes.
Yeah.
Because I did like 100 deals, but they were all 500 square feet, 1,000 square feet, and it was 1-year renewals.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just cranking them over and over, which was great. Good experience.
It was.
And Rick's a great guy.
Rick, I'm sure. So you took over my job when I left. When did didn't Creighton go there at some point?
I think
kind of around that time.
He had just started,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. That job, I kind of hated it because I wanted to just be playing in my band. But I have so much love and respect for Rick Curry because he hired me. I made money for those 2 years while I got my band situated so I could go on tour. And he taught me so much about real estate, like just how to write like a lawyer, how to review leases, how to draft leases, how to do construction management. And man, he was such a great teacher and so patient. And I don't know how he dealt with my drunk ass. Like I was hungover every day. I had one foot out the door the whole time I was there.
I think Rick may have worn our same shoes at some point in his life as a younger man.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think his dad was a C-suite guy or an exec at Greyhound.
Yeah.
And there were hints that he lived well growing up
Yeah.
with his mask collection. You remember that?
No.
He had all those African tribal masks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that kind of, he kind of steered me into collecting art regardless of the value of it, just as a, part of your travels and things like that. Don't just go on a trip, find some local art, log it on the back, take it home. And I still have some pieces that I bought at that time traveling through Mexico.
Do you still do it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love buying little knickknacks and art.
Yeah.
My parents are selling their ranch this month, and they have so much stuff down there that's accumulated. They've been there for 40 years. And so my sister, all the family, like cousins and everybody, like, what do you want? Because we got to get rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so we've hired, my sister and I have a moving company coming Sunday. And it's going to be a moving van full of like art and knickknacks that they've accumulated. And then I'm just going to like need to find space in my house for it, which will be pretty, I've got the space for it, but I'm excited to just have a whole new layer of art come into this house.
Yeah. What type of art is it?
I like a lot of folk art, and there's a lot of that, like Native American stuff, cowboy stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
And just random little things. Like there's like a frog doing yoga that you put in the yard, that's like all colorful. And I got that, of course. My mom's like, that's for you. You're the yoga guy.
You put it out in your Zen garden.
That's right.
I paid attention on the last episode.
That's right. The Zen garden. The Zen garden with a ZYN.
I didn't watch it until yesterday. And otherwise I was going to try to
Chris Hillman?
I was going to try to find you a sign that said the Zen garden.
Oh, I probably need that. I was like, no, not the ZYN garden, because I like to do Velo nicotine pouches, but I think that would be pretty funny.
You've mentioned Velo enough that I think you need to go for the sponsorship.
Do you want to represent me? You want to broker that deal?
Take
20%.
Wouldn't even know where to start, but I bet we could figure it out.
I'm pretty good at like making deals happen, but I've been very, I just haven't ever attempted to go get sponsors for this. I don't know. It's just, do I want to spend my time doing that? How much money is really in it? I feel like this podcast will eventually blow up to the point where people will be offering me to be sponsors. And when that happens, then that'll be like a good time to start negotiating. But like to go find sponsors when they are not aware that I exist, that seems like...
You need an angel sponsor though. Like a first round guy that gets
I've
in
been
early.
offered angel sponsors, but then it's like the money's not good enough to waste the time of the people listening to the podcast.
Right. How many followers do you have now?
I don't know. Like, I would say it's hard to tell. That's the thing. Like, I don't really know what I have here. It's weird because a lot of people listen to it,
Right.
and they tell me, and I get calls and texts, but it's not like I have some giant following. So the views on YouTube are not insane. If I post like a short on LinkedIn or Instagram, it'll get maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 views or something.
And how many of those are just somebody scrolling through their algo?
Yeah, totally. Like, I don't know how to track it. And I kind of just like have only so much time and energy, but there's no doubt like a piece of that is that freedom that you get when you become a broker. And if you can stomach the risk, the payoff of the freedom is something that I could never live without. That was probably my biggest problem with Faubert, is I was required to be there at 8:30 until 5:30. I got paid a salary like $35,000, which sounded like kind of a lot back then. I mean, I don't know. Coming out of college,
It was enough to pay your bills.
yeah, and I was getting bonuses for all the deals I got done. So I think I was clearing $70K or something when I quit, and I was 24 years old. So that was a lot of money to me then. But that salary and the health insurance and the 401k came with you got to be in the office at this time and leave at this time, and you need to dress a certain way, and you got to do this. And that's never been easy for me. The work is fine. I don't mind the work, but the rules that were laid out for me made it really tough. But I always skirted around rules whenever I had them. So it's like, oh, well, I've got a 9 a.m. building tour at Abrams Center, and I live in the Village, so this is just stupid to drive up to North Dallas and then go to Abrams Center. So I'll see you after that.
Right.
I would book 9 a.m. building tours and 4 p.m. building tours
On Thursdays and Fridays.
all day long. Definitely Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Whenever I could get away with it.
It's funny you talk about that freedom. We've been going through an exercise lately on how, what our income expectations are and the number of hours you have to put in to get there and what your hourly take is. And, if it breaks down to $1,000 an hour, when you're doing that freedom activity, like, for guys like us, maybe it's going and watching your kid play a game, right?
Yeah.
Is that worth $1,000 an hour? Really got to think about it.
Yeah.
And, I think for most of us, yes, it is, and we can make that hour up another time. But, when you're younger, farting around or coming to work late, is that worth $1,000? Shouldn't be.
Yeah. I think it just depends on how good you are, because the way I look at it now, and it's different now. Like I had to have that time with Rick Curry, grinding and being there. There's no doubt. Even though I didn't like it, that paid off for the rest of my career. Working for Jeff Mercer for a year and a half, that paid off. I followed the same set of rules, but it was even tougher than working for Rick. And then Mike Wyatt, and those 3 jobs drove me crazy, but taught me so much. And then I left Mike Wyatt after like 8 months. Like, okay, I got this now, and I'm going to go be on my own and make up my own rules. And now and ever since that time, then I look at it like, how can I be more efficient? How can I make $20,000 an hour and only have to work 3 hours a day? That would be that would be really good. I would be retired and living in Hawaii if that was really the case. But
that number still applies.
Mean?
The principle of it isn't that you're making $20,000 an hour. It's in the course of a day you make X amount, right?
Yeah.
And you break it out hourly. So and that's how you value it.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's definitely worth it to go spend that time with the kids. Mm-hmm. I have soccer. My son's first soccer practice ever in his life is tonight.
Enjoy that.
I will.
See how many kids cry.
Yeah. Oh,
See how many sit down and play in the dirt.
He will be on the. He'll be on the cry list. He might be on the cry list. He does not want to go.
Yeah.
He wanted to play soccer in June when it was starting in September, and now that it's September, he's got to go. It's like, I didn't want to play soccer. Why are you making me? It's like, dude, I did not make you. You wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's why you didn't play last year. You didn't want to do it. This year you did. So we'll see.
I feel like some things they need to be made to do, though.
I agree.
I had a kid. I coached my son's teams when he was little, probably to his detriment. But there was a kid that he hated going in. He would never play. He'd sit on the sideline, didn't want to play in the games. We'd put him in. He'd sit down and play in the mud. And his parents said, we're done. I said, bring him back next year. He came back the next year, kind of the same thing. And now he's playing, I think, for his boarding school out on the East Coast, playing high school soccer as a junior.
Yeah.
I mean, he fell in love with the game, but it's only because they made him stick with it.
Yeah.
And, 3-4-year-olds, they don't know.
Yeah. So much of it is fear of doing something that you don't know how to do. Mm-hmm. And that fear of failure. And you're right about that. I have a dynamic where I feel like my ex-wife and I are really good friends, but we're not aligned on that. Mm-hmm. And that makes things difficult. Where it's like, well, he doesn't want to do it. Don't make him do it. So there's some of that. The road less traveled, is the way. There's no doubt about that. But to convince sometimes the mother of your children that that's the best way versus the instant gratification of getting your way or not doing something difficult, and having that different philosophy about life. And I said that's the way. Like, I think that's the way for me. But for her, she views it very differently. Like, who's right or wrong? There is no right or wrong. It's just like, but I think that way has worked for me, and that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
So I think she was probably raised in a different way, and she's, she probably looks at it that way. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I've just got to get them to want to do it, and then like get them to follow through once they commit to something. But once they commit, then I'm like, okay, you're going. I don't care if you don't want to go. We signed you up. You got to do this.
That's fine. You can quit at the end of the season, and you'll go up to your coach and you'll tell him why. But you're going to finish the season and finish your commitment.
I like that.
And it gets even harder for them when you tell them how much they have to pay you pro rata for the cost of that club team and the travel that you've committed
that's
to.
Good. These are good parenting tips.
My wife and I are both in sales, completely different industries.
What does she sell? What does Hillary sell?
She hates when I call it cheap Chinese shit, but it's licensed products for fashion design. So like handbag designers, Kate Spade, Lily Pulitzer, their bread and butter is their bags, but they want point of sale items like cell phone covers, pens, agendas, things like that.
Yeah.
So she sells those to multi-door accounts, like Barnes and Noble, Nordstrom's, companies like that.
Yeah.
But it's all the stuff that's made in China.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about your childhood. 12 to 22 is where I normally like to steer this.
12 to 22. I had a fairly, I guess what you'd call a normal upbringing. Both my parents worked, and so we were kind of latchkey kids, but not really. Mom worked 3 days a week as a hygienist, so and we rode our bikes to school. We rode home, and the lady who watched us lived across the alley, and so she'd just come over and sit there and make sure we were there. And I don't know. I guess this can go one of two ways, and kind of a lot of what happened 12 to 22 is kind of what writes the story for the next 20 or 30 years of my life. I have inattentive ADHD, which is not, especially at the time, it wasn't diagnosed very often, because the ADD kids were the ones that were bouncing off the walls, disruptive in class. And it's not like that. It's more of a neuron issue, or not issue. And I hate the term, disorder, because I don't view it as a disorder. It's just a difference.
Yeah.
But, our healthcare system has to classify things, and they didn't know where to stick it. And so they put it there.
Yeah.
And one of the, I guess, traits or characteristics of that is social anxiety. And I have crippling social anxiety. And people confuse that with being an introvert, which not an introvert. Love being around people, love being out around people. But that anxiety of failure created an environment where I was self-medicating. And, that it just became a constant
Alcohol
in my life. Yeah.
How early did you start doing that?
I think I had my first beer when I was 12.
Yeah.
With my uncle, who has gone through rehab a couple times. We were out in Arkansas at the holidays, and it was iced over, and we were doing donuts in a mall parking lot. And
Here, Van, have a beer.
Yeah. He was my funkle, the fun uncle.
Yeah.
And because he was my mom's youngest brother, and so he was only, 8, 10 years older than me.
Oh, yeah.
So we've always had a fun relationship.
Did you grow up here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Highland Park.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. And, I coasted through the school system.
Did you drink during the week when you were in high school?
In high school, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And just sneak it in around the house, or
No.
were there?
We'd go on Knox. There was a Tom Thumb, and there was a guy that was, I guess, special, mentally challenged.
Yeah.
And he worked at one of the registers, and we knew his shift. And we could buy a 20-pack of Lone Stars for $5.
So you would just go do that. Did you play sports in high school?
I played baseball a little, but my parents didn't put me in the chamber system, with all the other guys that I grew up playing ball with that graduated out of YMCA ball. They all started playing whatever, I guess now it's called club or select ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then it was the chamber league. So I was, those guys that get those extra reps. You've read Freakonomics.
That's why you're so into your children.
Yeah.
Right. Probably because you did not have that.
I can get there. I was very overbearing with my son. I made sure I coached all of his teams so I could be a part of his stuff, because I don't really have much. I'm sure my parents were there, as many of my games as they could, but I don't have a recollection of him, you know, coming to every game, you know, being involved, doing any of that. It was just, you know, this is the activity that your friends are doing, so go do that.
Yeah.
So with my son, I was very intent on coaching so I could be involved, make sure that he was getting playing time and, you know, making sure he was not overlooked.
Yeah.
Probably to his detriment, because I think he has, he thinks that I have unrealistic expectations set for him.
Yeah.
Which I don't. I just want him to give everything his best.
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing half-assed effort.
Yeah.
And then I recognized that I did that, and I kind of broke his competitive spirit and took the fun out of the game of any sport for him. And he still resents some of it. And you know, the only reason he's still playing lacrosse, I think, is because we make him stick with it for high school, for his college transcript.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to say he's a varsity athlete and have that as a, you know, and you'll get there with this.
Yeah.
It's so valuable these days to have, you know, be artistic in some way, shape, or form, be a good student, you know, play sports, especially team sports where you got to work with other kids.
Yeah.
And so with my daughter, I've effectively retired from coaching. I said, I'm not going to coach any of her teams. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to go cheer and have fun and just enjoy it. And she has way more competitive drive than he did. She's good.
Yeah. That's like how the world works.
I know.
Yeah, I remember there were, my dad was like there, but he was kind of more probably like how you are with your daughter. And he played football at University of Arizona. His dad was the coach in high school. They won the state basketball championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he had this kind of upbringing where I think sports were really intense and important. And he was the opposite. Like, and it was always kind of do what you want to do. He wouldn't allow me to play football until I begged him until 5th grade.
I wasn't allowed to play at all.
Okay. Yeah. But he let me, but he always tried to talk me out of it. And I like, you played like Division I college football and you don't want me to play football. Like, that's crazy. But the injuries and all that, he was just like, dude, go play golf or tennis. And I did, because like especially tennis, like I was like taken to tennis camps and things like that. So I played some tennis, but I never really took to golf. And it's funny, like everything that he pressured me to do, though, like I did the opposite, basically.
Right.
And that's just funny. So yeah, with my kids, I kind of take this approach that's different, which is like, what are you interested in doing? And my daughter did not play sports until 5th grade, and she just started playing volleyball last year in the spring and loved it. But she didn't want to play before that, and I didn't make her. And but she now loves it, and she like wants to coach, and she was like, I wish I was doing club with my friends who've gone up to club, but she's not there yet. But I think after this season, then she's going to be at a level where she's ready. But she has this like drive, I think, that it seems to be working, and she gets it, and she's jumped right in kind of late in life into organized sports and seems to be doing well.
You cannot coach drive.
Yeah.
You can coach technique, you can coach skill, and if you have the drive, you'll put in the time necessary to get where you need to be.
For sure.
I've talked to some college coaches about what they look for. And, you know, there's this catch-22 of, we like multi-sport athletes because they work different muscle groups and they learn to lose in different things, and not just, the team that they're on is excelling, and that's why they're getting our eyes and attention. But did you lose, right? And do you know how to overcome that? Things like that. But at the end of the day, you can't coach drive. And there's a friend of ours that has a daughter that she never played lacrosse. And all of her friends played club, travel, select, all this stuff, going to all these showcases. And she decided her freshman year of high school that she wanted to try it at Ursuline. And she has to drive, and she's coachable.
Yeah.
And she has a scholarship to play at Louisville. I think she's in her second year there.
Yeah.
And the girls all on the club team, her age, none of them got scholarships.
Yep. Cole Hooper, my business partner, didn't play football, I think, until a junior or senior year of high school. And then he went to Brown, played football, was all Ivy offensive lineman, played 4 years.
Does that really count as football at an Ivy?
LOL. I couldn't handle it.
That was a shot at you, too.
I know it was. I couldn't handle it. I quit after 1 year. So it's real football. One of my teammates won a Super Bowl, so it was real football. It's funny, though. So let's get back to this drinking during the week. That's insane. Like, I went at Woodrow. I'm sure there were people doing this, but that's wild. Like, how many nights were you going? How many afternoons going to the Tom Thumb?
3 or 4 a week.
Yeah. And where would you go drink?
We'd hop in somebody's truck,
Just drive around. Yeah.
There were about 6 to 8 of us in total, and any given night there'd be 4 of us that would get out, drive around, shoot people on the side of the road with paintball guns, just doing stupid teenage stuff, things that will all get you thrown in federal prison nowadays.
My parents had a tight leash on me. Like, whenever I attempted to go drinking, I would get grounded.
Well, we were going to study.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just get caught. I was an idiot, too. I would just do stupid shit.
We got caught one time.
Yeah.
We got going too fast, being chased in the car by some friends of ours, and somebody hit a stop sign. We did.
Yeah.
And my buddy's front license plate fell off.
Yeah.
And we didn't see any damage to the car. We didn't notice the license plate was gone. But his father was on the Highland Park board or city council. So he got home to police in his driveway.
I just had one of my Woodrow Wilson classmates on yesterday, and we were talking about we would go to Williamson Park and go drink there. Like, did Highland Park have
Thackeray?
Thackeray? Y'all would go there and hang out. Yeah.
Because it was outside of the town limits.
Where is Thackeray?
North of Northwest Highway.
Oh, okay.
Like Park Lane and Thackeray.
Yeah.
Just west of Hillcrest.
Yeah.
So it was outside of UPPD and HPPD. So the ISD doesn't have time to mess with teenage white kids sitting at a park.
Yeah. They did with the Woodrow kids.
Oh, y'all were trouble.
Yeah, we were trouble. Yeah, I feel, the Bryan Adams kids, they were the troubled ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The further east you move, the rougher it got back then.
Our beef was generally
with the white people. It's like this central Dallas, like Highland Park to Woodrow to Bryan Adams. We would get in fights with the Bryan Adams kids. I joke like we did not like Highland Park kids, but Highland Park kids did not know what Woodrow was.
Where is that?
What is Woodrow?
I still get Woodrow and WTY confused.
Yeah. But Woodrow and Bryan Adams, we would have rivalries. There was some big fight. I never got to go to any parties because I was grounded the whole time I was in high school. But they like the Bryan Adams people like climbed over the fence of my buddy's house and went in the backyard, and they have like baseball bats and chains and shit. And the guy came out with a shotgun and shot it off to break. I mean, it's just crazy that this was happening in Lakewood.
Our beef was up the Platinum Corridor, with Jesuit, and we didn't really mess with the St. Mark's kids. They were
They were
nerds.
nice guys, yeah.
And most of them ended up at Highland Park after their sophomore year when they got asked
Flunked
to leave.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. That's where my son's in school now.
At St. Mark's.
And
My parents tried to send me there, and I failed the admissions test.
it's tougher to get into now than it was then.
Yeah. I think I intentionally failed. I did not want to go to private school.
Really?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you went to an Ivy.
Yeah. I'd never heard of Brown before until they recruited me for football. Not on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then where did you go to college?
Well, I started at A&M. I was still undiagnosed with ADHD
Yeah.
or ADD. And, I coasted through high school, took the SAT and did very well on it, and the ACT. And I think you could fill out like the statewide, send out the scores to everybody.
Yeah.
And I got into tech within 24 hours, and I didn't apply. And I got into A&M, I think 2 days later, didn't apply.
Yeah.
And UT said, we need you to fill out an application that involved an essay. And I looked at it, and
Like I'm already in it.
I'm in a school. My dad went to North Texas, and he looked at A&M as like, wow, way to go.
Yeah.
You're in, you're good. Horrible advice. Should not, times were different. We weren't as involved. Our parents weren't as involved and didn't, everything's gotten to be it's a business, but it's so competitive, right? And we want to make sure that our kids are put in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
And we think the way to do that is best schools, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I know people that are highly successful that went to, public schools all the way through, and then North Texas, Texas Tech, UTSA, you name it, or didn't even go to college.
Yeah.
And very successful. So it goes back to that drive thing, right?
Yeah.
So I went to A&M, and I think I walked into my freshman English class, and there were 650 people in there. I graduated with 275.
Yeah.
Ish. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't have to show up. This guy didn't know me.
Right.
There's no attendance. And I'd always been able to get by. Well, in hindsight, I was able to get by because I went to class and absorbed information, even though I never had to do homework in high school.
Yeah.
And I was asked to leave A&M after a year. I got I got 1 credit hour in golf. I don't know how, because I maybe showed up half the time. I think the guy just gave everybody a C.
I bet you had fun there in College Station during that time.
I did. Had a lot of fun. And then I came back and went to Brook Harvard. Before going there, though, we had gone and talked to SMU. And they had a...
Wait, where did you go?
I talked to SMU, Brookhaven.
Okay.
Brook Harvard.
I've never heard that before.
See, I went to Ivy, too.
Yeah, he did.
Dallas County Ivy College.
Rich Young calls OU the Harvard of the South.
That's not bad. But we had talked to SMU, and they had a program where if you went to one of the community colleges, your credit hours could transfer in as long as you took certain courses, and you'd get full credit for them. And so I was essentially starting over. But I spent 1.5 years at Brookhaven, got all of the credits I needed to check SMU's box, and then that's where I went to undergrad.
Yeah. Went to class there?
Went to class most of the time.
Yeah.
I did have a victory lap or two.
What's funny is I never went to class through Woodrow nor through Brown.
Well, you're an athlete at Brown.
Brown was easier to not go to class than Woodrow. And they don't want you to flunk out there. Like, they want 100% of the people they accept to the college to graduate. So it's a different system than the state schools. And I figured that out. But I learned how to skate through there pretty quickly by just being able to be friends with people who took good notes. And then I was required to go to writing, like a writing tutor. I talked about this before with my college roommate. And that saved my ass. Like, I really learned how to write when I was there. And then once I figured that out, then there's no core curriculum at Brown. So you can take only classes you're interested in taking for your major. So I didn't have to take like biology or calculus or anything that was too complicated. It was all sociology, political science, English, just so I can go read. I would read the first sentence of, or maybe the first paragraph of each chapter of the reading that was required, and then base a paper off of doing that and using quotes from the book, and made B's.
It's one of the dirty little secrets of the Ivies. I know Harvard doesn't, Stanford doesn't, Yale. Once you're in, that's all you have to do is get in. There are no grades. Like the classes,
pass fail. Yeah. You can have grades, or you can take a pass fail, whatever you want. I took so much pass fail.
Time to withdraw. It's like, you're going to fail, just withdraw and take it again.
Yeah.
Or take something else. To those schools' detriment now, Harvard just had to add remedial math.
Really?
Because of all the DEI type programs and, trying to have this well-balanced by appearance student body, that they're letting in kids that probably wouldn't have or shouldn't have ever qualified to be there. That in the past they wouldn't have gotten through. But now they're having to take remedial college math at Harvard.
I was one of those kids from Woodrow that I needed to take remedial everything when I got to Brown. I got a no credit on my first paper. But
that's not an F, right?
Yeah, it is.
No,
it's worse than an F.
You couldn't withdraw?
Yeah, it was on my first paper, so it wasn't like on my report card. But anyway, so then you went straight into commercial real estate when you got out of school?
I was still in school.
Okay.
I started at Dillon with TQ and Langston, who I see Greg every now and then. He's got kids at ESD.
I just saw
my daughter's
him
at ESD, and he's got kids there. He's pretty involved.
I saw him at the Granada Theater.
Okay.
Pride Snow, do you know him? He used to work over there at Avison with them, and he works at Collier's now, but he's in a band that played at the Granada and sold it out.
Wow.
Yeah. They're called the Desk Jockeys. They would have played your 30th birthday party if they were our age. They're really good. They're like a jam band cover band.
I was going to write down Desk Jockeys, but then I realized I can just go back and watch it.
That's right. Forever.
Yeah.
This is going to be on the internet forever.
I know. I've been reminded of that at home by my wife. And all the lessons we're trying to teach our kids.
By the way,
the internet is forever.
Thank God there was no YouTube or cell phone cameras when the boys named Sue were playing your birthday party. I would be so fucked. Cell
phone cameras. Forget my birthday party, boys. Just in general.
Oh my God! Everything. Like everything, we would have been in so well. I don't know. We would have not had the craziness that we got to experience, because we would have been smart enough to realize that you can't do that. But we got away. I don't know. Like,
I don't
there
think
had
so.
to have been that time when the cell phone camera was invented and people were in college and they're like, oh, yeah, we have cell phone cameras. It's like not understanding what going viral meant. So that group got crushed, probably, like, got lives ruined by not understanding the consequences. But, like, our kids are growing up in a time where I think they'll do less stupid shit than we did.
You hope.
Yeah, I hope.
All we can do.
I just hope they survive the stupid shit because, I mean, I think it's inevitable for everyone.
Yeah.
So
Don't give your kids a cell phone.
no, too late. My daughter has type 1 diabetes, so she's had one since she was 4 because it tracks her blood sugar.
Aren't there other ways to do it?
Doesn't matter now. She's 11.
Our daughter hates us
Oh, yeah.
because she
Oh, how old is she?
She's going to be 13 in October.
When are you going to give her a cell phone?
Never.
21 when I got one.
We tell her high school, but at that point, she didn't need it.
It's kind of nice to track them on the cell phone.
There are other ways to track them.
Oh, okay. Do you get a chip inserted?
No, this is. I'll tell you after the podcast.
Oh, I feel like, oh, yeah. I mean, you've already said you have it. I'm just curious. It might be a good parenting tactic.
Yeah. Well, in the logistics business, we know about fleet tracking.
There you go. That's
So,
right.
There are ways to track your fleet.
So you were in college working for Greg Langston. That had to have been pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
Young Greg Langston. How old was he then? Like in his 20s?
No, he was in his mid-30s, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I would peg. Just maybe it's just my mental like view of somebody in that position.
Dude, like
at that time,
Rick Curry was like 40 when we were working for him, and he seemed like he could have been like 60 to me because that's weird to think about. That dawned on me the other day.
You know, it applies to a lot of stuff too. We were watching Riggs and Murtaugh. What's the Danny Glover movie?
Which
with
Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah,
He was 40 in that movie.
Yeah.
He looks like he's 60.
Yeah. That's funny.
But he was 10 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, Langston, and that was the old school Mapsco days.
Oh, yeah.
And, we didn't have all these fancy CRMs. I had a box of note cards, put business cards on.
Yeah.
And we had the pick up 100 business cards a week mantra. And those will filter down to 1. But every week you got to get 100. And they filter down to 1. And I guess it's true for, in sales, you got to get used to the no.
You would get 100 from going door to door?
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Our meetings were on Monday where we'd go through our stack, and there's always the fish bowl at lunch. That's a good way to add to your stack. When people go to the lunch counter and throw your business card in for a free lunch.
Oh, yeah.
I would always grab a handful out of there.
That's funny. That's a pretty good like prospecting technique though, is like come in every Monday, have 100 business cards that you picked up last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I've spent the rest of the week calling and going and getting more business cards. And it was pick a building downtown or wherever and walk the building.
All office space there?
That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you were doing that in college?
I mean, it was my 6th senior year or 6th year or 7th year of college.
Yeah.
I mean, with the A&M year and,
Brooke Harvard.
Yeah. So I
Did
had
they give
one
you
semester
shit for this? Did they give you shit for this when you were working?
No. A bunch of slapdicks over there. Judge McStay. Judge is kind of slapdick too.
I don't know him too well. But The name sounds familiar. Is he still?
He's with TQ doing triple net retail stuff, some light industrial, just kind of for their own accounts.
Yeah.
Managing family office.
Yeah. And then you went to Swearingen?
Went to Swearingen, got in their training program where it was more of a, I guess, formalized program than just smile and dial.
Yeah.
And, here's a list of questions. That was the...
What made you leave Dillon to go there?
That training program.
Okay.
And compensation.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I needed health care and,
yeah,
a way to pay the bills steady.
Yeah.
Because short of, a pretty minimal draw as it was, Dillon didn't offer anything.
And then did you did you know that I left Faubert, then he's looking for someone else at that point? Is that right?
I talked to Rick casually.
Yeah.
Over the years. And, we had some common interests and, we just kept the conversation open. And I said, hey, if you're ever looking for somebody, I'd be interested. And, when you left, he called me.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I was at my office in Swearingen 24 years ago today.
Wow.
At 9/11.
Oh, yeah. I was working for Faubert, and I was moving that day. It was a Monday, so I moved on a Monday, of course, not on a Saturday.
Right,
Sorry,
of course.
I have to move on Monday. That's the only day the movers can come.
Yeah.
Moving to Deep Ellum, and that was, 9/11. That changed me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I decided I'm quitting this job very quickly. And it was 1 year later, in 2002 of September when I quit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had a football friend from Brown, Paul Sloan, who died in the towers. And he was the only person I knew who died. But I had so many friends from college that lived in New York, and I was getting a cell phone call from my buddy who I played rugby with, and he's like running down the streets and telling me, I'm okay, I don't know what's going on. It's like, man, life can end at any moment. I'm not going to let it end this way for me. Like, I've got to go do this. And it changed, like, the whole world, obviously.
Have you been to the memorial?
No.
You need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's very moving, very emotional.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I remember that morning, I called my dad and I was talking to him, and I said the trade center got hit, and he thought it was the one down on Stemmons that Crow had built.
Yeah. Thank God, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
but, you know, with the
horrible.
Infomart being there, that was a big tech hub at the time.
Yeah.
And it was very potentially a target.
Yeah.
Started there, went over to Faubert, and then after that, shortly after Creighton left, he left and got his broker's license. I did the same. The requirements at the time were a little different to go from agent to broker. And I think I remember that they were debating changing them to make it harder, to make it more restrictive. And so I got my broker's license just to have it. Left and then got into development with a fraternity brother of mine's father.
How long were you at Faubert?
3 years,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it was about 3 years.
Chris Doggett and
Doggett was
Creighton.
there. Yeah.
David Walters. Is he still
David
there?
wasn't there.
He had left.
Yeah, Doggett and Creighton were. I saw Doggett, toured one of his buildings right before he moved over to Fort Worth. It was one of the M2G buildings down on Ross,
Yeah.
the Instagram development. or whatever that's what those girls do, is just social media. Their buildings up, fancy murals.
They're good at marketing.
Yeah.
World class. Curry's a big fan. He introduced me to them.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. I think he's in some deals with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done really well really quickly.
Yeah.
I think they've started to have to overpay for stuff, though.
Yeah. I mean, it just all depends. Dallas, the upside is limitless here, I think. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and and I've heard this before, but it's like when you're buying something, like if you're buying really good real estate, it's just going to hurt once when you buy it. And then after that, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I was actually having that same conversation with one of the guys at the office about acquiring assets, especially inside of, Northwest Highway down to maybe Lemon, but even farther north of that, in between 75 and Tollway. And you can't try to cap rate those deals. You can't. You just got to buy them. If you want the asset, you just have to buy it.
Yeah.
And it'll give you the value eventually.
Yeah.
But you're not buying it to get a return day one.
Yeah. You're buying it because it can 10x in value in 5 years, potentially.
Absolutely.
10 years, if it doesn't, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But that's a long wait sometimes for, depending on what your situation is when you're buying it. But yeah, the long-term vision in Dallas, I feel super confident in investing in that. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I remember Gil Thomas was trying to buy the Birds Unlimited. It's now Birds Unlimited, or I think it's a bank now, but it was Birds Unlimited at the corner of Douglas and Lovers. And they were $50,000 apart. And he wanted it to put a balcony because his grandsons were playing baseball at the high school. So he could go up and watch them from the office. And they were $50,000 apart. And that was, God, 30-something years ago. It's got to be worth, who knows now. But it's certainly absorbed that 50.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I would think a property like that, and I would at that location, 30 years ago, if it's $10 million today, it's $100 million.
Oh yeah.
Or even more of a multiple.
I mean, what's Highland Park Village done since Ray bought it?
Oh yeah.
He's done a lot to it and really changed the profile of it, but
yeah, but still. Yeah, the rents went from like $50 a foot to $500 a foot or something.
More than that.
Yeah, is it more? I don't even know.
And you don't get to just show up.
Did you work for Ray when you were at Faubert?
No, I'd looked at some charter deals, but not. I wasn't.
I was leasing
involved.
the charter stuff when I was there.
Okay.
That was intense because Ray seemed really old to me, but he was probably like 30 years old or 32. And I mean, those meetings with Ray and Phil Schiebel, once a week, I think, or maybe every other week, Rick and I would go to their office and go through every one of the vacancies and talk through it and every deal. And I would be pretty damn nervous going into those meetings.
Yeah. I remember Creighton had one of Ray's buildings that Ray let him list, and he found a buyer, full ask. And Ray said, counter him $1 million more. Ray, they offered you exactly what you're asking. He goes, well, it clearly wasn't enough.
Yeah. That...
So he killed the deal.
He did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He ended up selling it after increasing the price. But
yeah.
That deal got killed.
Yeah, it came too quickly.
Yeah.
We're not priced high enough.
Yeah. Too fast, and they got full ask.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Clearly.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Find a mentor. Listen to my dad. Don't think you know everything.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, when we're young, we think we know everything. We think we're invincible. We don't know anything. We still don't. You can always learn more, and surround yourself with smart people. Surround yourself with smarter people than you, which is sometimes hard for us brilliant people. You know, put yourself in a group that is where you want to be, not be at the top. But don't be comfortable.
Yeah.
Do the hard. We tell my son this all the time, or I do. Do the hard things.
Yeah.
Everybody can do the easy stuff.
Yeah.
Do the hard things. Yeah. He was trying to find a job this summer. I said, I've set up businesses for him. Like, I've got a power washer. These high school kids will power wash stuff all the time. And I have stories every year of some kid making $5,000 every summer power washing windows or sidewalks. He's like, Dad, that's a lot of work. Because I just had him do our sidewalk, so he'd have some before and after pictures, like for a flyer. That's too much work. I said, you just have to do 2 of them and then hire somebody. I'll help you. It's too much work. You got to do the hard stuff. You got to either do something that nobody else can do or nobody else wants to do.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's how you get ahead.
So the drinking.
Yeah.
When did you finally quit? You're sober now.
Yeah.
Like me.
My phone. I'm not a 12-step guy. I didn't go to any programs. I am more of when I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it. But I did download this app that somebody I talked to at the time suggested. And when we rescheduled, I looked after and I counted wrong and I put 31 days in August. But I thought today I was going to come in with a different milestone. But this is today.
That's pretty cool.
That's today.
In the world of spirituality this week, when it was 2025, those numbers all add up to 9. So It's called the 999 portal.
This week?
Yeah, it was on September 9th. But it opened up this portal that mystical people talk about. And it's a time for rebirth and manifestation. So that's pretty cool that it's 999.
Interesting. I'm going to have to read into that.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Where does that portal lead?
Google it. All I know is it's there's energy that's moving, and that if you were doing what you need to be doing, then it will really help you. And if you're not doing what you need to be doing, it'll smack you. So I just try to make those sometimes what used to be impossible decisions, but now they've become way easier, but the right things to do, mm-hmm. Choosing peace over chaos. That's what it comes down to for me.
Well, that's an interesting one, because I'm going to get to one of our next questions. There's a book that I've been wanting to start. I haven't gotten there yet, but it's by a guy named Tim Larkin. His book is called When Violence is the Answer. And it's not so much be a violent person, and violence isn't a way of going through life, but always be aware of what's going on around you and be prepared to help yourself and others at any cost.
Yeah.
Which, kind of reflection back with 9/11 this week. There was some events that day on that plane in Philadelphia. There were guys that got up and said, at any cost, we're going to stop this.
Yeah.
And they stormed that cockpit.
Yeah.
But so the drinking was a ongoing thing, essentially from high school through college, all the way until that clock started running. I have a 30-day period in there where I stopped just to see if I could do 30 days, and maybe a handful of 3 to 4 day no drinking. But in that 30-year, that was the only times.
Yeah. That's awesome. You look good.
Thank you.
You feel like you're reverse aging.
Yeah, but I'm taking the form of Grimace from McDonald's, where everything's like selling out here because I like ice cream.
I was about to say, you probably eat a lot of sugar. That's normal.
Yeah, it's your body metabolizes it the same way. Feeds the same addiction.
Yeah. It's a great way to get off alcohol, but then the next thing is, this is something that is big on my mind. I think about sugar way more than like consuming alcohol. Like I think about not consuming sugar.
It's more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah. And there's no doubt. But when you get out of the cycle of having it on a regular basis, which I just did 75 hard to break myself of it. So I went 75 days with no sugar, no sweets. And now I've started where I can do it once a week, but I don't have the cravings if I just have like something, and I might not do it every week, but I've allowed myself, like last night I went to a nice restaurant. They had like a little tiny dessert too. And I was like, oh, I'll have this. I'm in a nice place. But it's like, once I went that 75 days, it really helped me to like where I can do it once a week. And then it's not becoming grimace, but the grimace occurs when you get in that cycle of every day. And I mean, the craving for sugar is worse than any drug or alcohol I've ever done. Like it's when you get into it, but I found that 75 days is a magic number. So
I did,
you should try that.
I did call it Atkins or whatever, the low net carb for a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
No sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the alcohol sugars, but I was only drinking tequila, which metabolizes different than grain spirits because it's a green plant base.
Yeah.
So your body processes it differently to where you don't, like if somebody has a cocktail and then stops drinking, they still want that sugar because their blood sugar spiked. Whereas tequilas and mezcals, because they're from a plant, it's metabolized a lot smoother in your blood system.
Yeah.
But I went 2 years without sugar. Sorry. And I found that, like you said, you do it like once a week. If I did it, I would get sick.
Yeah.
Like violently sick.
Yeah, it's not as good.
It was painful sick.
I can't have anything. Like if I have sugar now, it needs to be like a blueberry muffin, not like Susie cakes. If I were to do Susie cakes, something with a lot of icing, that would make me sick today. And that was something that I could eat every night of the week 6 months ago.
She's a neighbor of ours, Susie.
You know what you should tell her? Whenever I get my hair cut at the boardroom in Lakewood, right next door to Susie Cakes, I say, fuck you, Susie Cakes.
Yeah,
I flip the bird out at it and like, I'm not going back.
And she'll hop in her 911 and speed home to her $2 million house.
Yeah, fuck that place.
Selling little cake balls.
Dude, that place is dangerous.
My kids love it.
Yeah. My kids know that whenever we drive by it, I say, fuck Susie Cakes, because I had a big problem with it. It was ruining my life.
My entrepreneurial daughter, who made 4 times the money this summer as my high school son, because she found 3 moms that work from home in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That, travel and have their own businesses, and they get packages and stuff. So she would go every day, pull their mail, receive their packages, and box them up and bring them to our house. And then when they came home, she'd deliver them. Doing that and like watching kids, like for the moms that work at home. So she didn't even have to do anything except sit there and watch TV with them. Just keep them out of mom's hair.
That's awesome. Okay. We got to start cranking.
Okay.
Have you ever had a mystical experience?
I don't believe so. I thought this was the toughest one for me.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how I would define mystical experience. I know in my mind what I think people believe is a mystical experience, whether that's some form of out-of-body experience or passing on or being pronounced dead and then coming back, or even if it's some sort of psychedelic, mind trip, right? I have a idea of what I think it should be, and maybe that's what I'm using to define it. And under those standards, I don't think I have.
Do you ever do psychedelics?
Nope.
Yeah.
I've always liked to be in control.
Yeah.
I don't like, and I say that, and people scoff on, oh, when you drink, you're not in control. But, with ADHD, if you think of it like a roadway, normal brain has nerve endings. Like it's just a road and every car's going the same speed, and cars can merge and cars can exit at the same speed and everything's going smooth. ADD is like you take that same roadway and then you throw some F1 cars on it and they're all going in and out. They're all shooting on and off, slamming on brakes, accelerating. And so this goes back to the alcohol. It slows down those cars.
Yeah.
So I'm still, to me, I felt normal.
Yeah.
When I was drinking. So I was still in my mental capacity, right?
Yeah.
That's why I never liked marijuana, because I didn't have control.
Right.
Stimulants are another thing because
Control. Yeah.
And they extend the ability to,
Drink. Yeah. We're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Except I have done a lot of psychedelics, and
I'm intrigued by it. I mean, I truly am, and I've done a lot of reading about it. I just don't know. I don't know that I want to do it. I would be interested in, like, I don't know whether it's, I don't know the right term for it, like micro dosing or whatever, but the right controlled environment where, and there's no really good way to do it, but you'd like to have somebody monitor you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of that now.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more common. And I mean, I've done it. I have no desire to do it again.
Yeah.
I would say that they gave me a clear belief that there is no control. And that's kind of becomes comforting because then you don't have to stress about controlling anything.
Yeah.
So then you just kind of trust in God. I've become like way more trusting in God and just like looking for those signs and those mystical experiences. But it's not for everybody. And if you ever are interested, I know lots of like clinical ways to do that in a safer place. But I had to get a doctor's note to like go do ayahuasca, and I've done it off the grid and I've done it like clinical, but it is what it is.
It's more, for me, it's intrigue. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And understanding it more so I can just get it and like what is doing that and what's causing it and how is it affecting people? Like, how is it affecting your brain and what does it do?
Yeah. I think the coolest thing about it, and not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but it's like if you think I'm Vann Shank and you look at yourself and you see your hand and like, this is me and I'm me. When you do the psychedelics, you see that you're just energetic molecules and it's like all connected to everything. So you are part of everything. And when you can see that, and it's like proven by science that this is the case, but you can read about it, but then when you actually experience it and you're like, oh shit, like you are me and I am you. Like we are all connected to the trees and all of this is all part of this one energetic structure that's like all, then it's like you get a lot more compassion for people. Mm-hmm. You have like a lot less tendencies towards selfishness, and you never are certain of anything anymore, and any certainties that you once had. And I think like these certainties drive the anxiety and the ADD, the sense that you can control. You recognize you have zero control. There's nothing that you can control. Like there's little like behaviors that help your cause and elevate your energy. So then you're vibrating at a higher level of energy. So then you're drawing higher level energy people into your life. And that makes life more peaceful, less chaotic. You see all of that when I've seen all of that when I've done it. And but then I saw it and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Bye. Yeah. Like, I don't want to see that shit again. It's scary also. But
that was a long way to rapid fire that one question.
Yeah, man. And I do have to go here in a little bit, but I want to hit on a couple things. Wait, you're prepared. So do you have a quote?
I have a quote. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
I like that quote.
That is attributed to George W.'s former chief of staff's grandfather. Started a law firm, and those were his 5 Ps that he made all of his attorneys learn and practice.
I like that.
And it could apply to every single thing in life.
Yep.
Song. I have 2. I just have my wife and I's song is kind of cliche, but it's Good Hearted Woman.
Oh, yeah. That's a boy's name, Sue. Staple. Set closer.
And it brings tears to my eye.
That song's about you and me.
And my good-hearted woman.
And Rick Curry.
Yeah. Another good one, though, is Malagueña Rosa. It's a Spanish song or Mexican song. It's about a poor guy that is talking to a beautiful woman and says, I love you, but I understand that because I'm poor, you will never be with me. It doesn't really have any meaning, but it's a great song. I'll send it to you. It's been covered numerous times, and there's some question on the origin of it. Using the guy who originally wrote it, they think used a lot of public domain music in it.
Yeah.
But if you're ever traveling through Mexico or at a place where a mariachi band is playing, request it, and everybody will think, wow, that guy.
He knows.
You don't just know your rockabilly stuff.
Yeah.
Send international.
It to me.
I will.
Guantanamera is my go-to request for mariachi bands.
Okay.
And that's
this one's. It's got some ballad parts to it. And there's some real peaks. Hey, you've heard it. I
love Mexican music.
It was in Kill Bill.
Oh yeah.
It was in Desperado with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
So when you hear it, you'll remember it.
Restaurant. That's what I want to know.
I have a hard time with restaurant, and because it's so. Restaurant is like, what's the moment, right?
What is today?
And well, who am I with? Where are we? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Our first date was at Bob's. Well, it was a lunch at Christie's that extended to Bob's for dinner. So
That's
I
a
had
good
very
first date.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. One of her friends showed up because Hillary invited her, and she left, said, "This is a date. I'm not supposed to be here." Yeah.
How did you meet Hillary?
Through that girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Through common friends.
Saturday? Was it like a Saturday?
It was
to lunch?
Saturday, October 13th,
And you went-
2001.
that's a good time to go on a date in the fall.
Yeah, Christie Sports
Football
Bar.
season.
Ole Miss. It was the Ole Miss Oklahoma State game because that was, I think, the Ole Miss watch location in town.
Yeah.
And
Classic Dallas first date. October 13th.
she's from Nebraska. She loves football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a winner. But prior to that, we met through another friend, and she said, "Oh, I'm Hillary. It's nice to meet you." I said, "Oh, we've already met." And she said, she turned to her friend Rachel and said, "That guy's an asshole, and we are never talking to him again." Because I said we had already met.
Yeah.
And that was when I started saying "nice to see you" instead of "nice to meet you."
That's,
That moment.
I say that a lot too.
I always say "nice to see you" because, especially when I was drinking for a long period, a lot of times I've met people that I didn't recall the next day.
Dude, I have a major problem with that, being sober still. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm terrible with names and faces, and so I'm in the wrong business for that too.
Yeah, I'm for sure like a nice to see you kind of a guy. And then occasionally you get that person that's like, "Do you even remember my name?" One of those things. Mm-hmm. I'm like, come on, is that necessary? You know what I always do when I see someone? "Hey, good to see you, Ward Richmond." Like, I remind people right there on the spot. I think that's a courteous thing to do.
Yeah. Now yeah. Okay, so anyway, restaurant is kind of experiential, whatever the moment is.
I like that you mentioned Bob's Steak and Chop House.
But
That's a classic.
And we've had some other memory events there. Like, we took our son there when he got admitted to St. Mark's, and now that's his one of, like, "Hey, good job on this, big event. What do you want to do? Let's go to Bob's."
Yeah,
So,
that's a good one. Love it. Charity or cause that you're passionate about?
whichever organization my wife is volunteering for at that time.
Okay.
She is a serial volunteer, and overseeing. Like, she'll co-chair things, and every event needs check writers and workers. She's a worker.
Yeah.
She puts in the sweat and works hard at it. And when that event's over, she says, "I'm never doing this again."
Yeah.
And then the next one comes up. So I'm always supporting whatever cause she is involved with.
Nice.
Right now it is 7th grade or 11th grade parent chair for the St. Mark's junior year.
Yeah. That's awesome. Tell Hillary I said, "What's up?"
I will. Is that it?
How do people track you down?
LinkedIn. My Instagram's private, so don't try me there.
Yeah.
You'll just find a picture of my dog. And I guess on our company website, siteselectiongroup.com.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for trucking on.
This was awesome.
It
Good to
was.
catch up.
It was really good to see
We've
you.
had a interesting story arc.
That's right. And it's still going.
Yeah, it is.
So thanks for sharing all of that.
Absolutely.
And showing up and sharing your wisdom with the world
Sure.
of trucking on.
Congrats on your sobriety.
Thanks. Right back at you.
Yep.
999 days.
I can't believe I had that math wrong. I was so excited to come in here for 1,000.
I think 999 is cooler. That's
Yeah.
why it happened.
Well, now that I know that it's the portal,
It's the 999 portal.
yeah, it makes it.
It's actually it's actually a mystical experience what just happened.
Okay, there it is.
There
There's
you
my
go.
mystical experience.
All right, brother.
Keep on trucking.
Peace.